We hope you've been enjoying our series where we're covering all the gear that we use to make our videos. Today we're going to talk about the slider that we use. We use a Konova K5 slider, and specifically the 100cm version. All right, so what do we use the slider for? We mainly use it for B-roll shots. So anytime we're doing event coverage or anytime we're doing some talking head videos or anything like that, and we want to splice some video on top, we use the slider to get some cool, high production value shots, right? So anything from, just sliding across, to sliding and panning, to sliding and tilting and panning, to kind of punching in, any kind of those slider shots, that's what we use the slider for. Rarely, but sometimes we also use it for a second camera when we're doing interviews. Now, this obviously requires a second camera operator, but we do sometimes have moving talking head shots, and that's where we use the slider for that as well. Our setup is pretty simple. On the slider itself, we put a Manfrotto 701 HDV head right on top of there. And the nice thing is this is the same fluid head that we have on a regular tripod. So it's really easy for us to take a camera from the tripod and put it onto the slider. In terms of the slider itself, we either have it on the ground with feet that are included, or we put it on two lighting stands. And if we have more time, we replace one of those lighting stands with a tripod for more stability. On the two lighting stands, for sure you can get slider shots, but it gets a little wobbly. When we put the tripod there, it's definitely more firm, but sometimes that tripod's being used and we just use the two lighting stands. All right, so what do we like about this slider? Well, I feel like the slider is almost like the drone of 5 years ago, Nowadays, drones are becoming more affordable. People are buying drones and people are doing a lot of drone shots and adding a lot of production value. I feel like 5 years ago, that was sliders. Right? When I saw slider shots, I was blown away by how good it looked, mimicking almost a full-blown dolly, in this little kind of compact package. When I bought the slider and I used it for the first time, I couldn't believe how nice the shots look and how professional they look. So I really like the production value that a slider adds, and the Konova K5 is a good example of that. The second thing is we've been using this thing for 5-6 years. It's definitely held up, even though little dirt pieces definitely get into the rails, and even though those will affect the shot a little bit, not too much. Overall, we're still using this slider very often, and it's held up over all these years. It's really strong build, it's like metal, really built tough, and it works really well. So the longevity of this is definitely really good. Now, we bought the 100cm version, and it's really nice to have that length. There are longer and there are shorter versions, but the 100cm is kind of a nice balance and being compact and being long enough to get decently long slider shots. The price is not too bad. When we were considering the slider, we were also considering sliders that were in the $1,200 range, the $1,500 range. This slider comes in at about $700 Canadian. Now, since we bought it, I noticed that Konova has a lot of cheaper sliders that are the $300 to $400 range. So it's kind of mid-range price, which is pretty good. As I mentioned in our setup, sometimes we put this thing on the floor. So it's really nice that this thing comes with adjustable feet. And those adjustable feet are actually really well designed. They have major motion where you can kind of rotate the feet, and they have little minor tweaks that you can do just by unscrewing the feet. Which brings me to my next point. There are bubble levels on the slider, which actually really help with leveling the slider, which is a really handy thing to have. Not to mention that the screws themselves have a nice quality to them, have a nice feel to them, really nice high quality product. And talking about the production value, it is a very smooth slider. Again, like I said, the dust sometimes gets in there, but it comes with little cleaners, and as long as you clean it, the motion is very smooth, and we've gotten very good results with it. It's one of those things that you can kind of just set up really quickly, get a couple quick shots, and your production value is really nice. All right, so what don't we like about the slider? I'll be honest, not much. I couldn't think of anything that I don't like about the slider. Like, there's nothing more that I want out of this. I mean, yes, there are sliders where you can do automated things and you can repeat shots and you have motors, things like that. But that's a whole different class, right? And that's sometimes even a different product entirely, right? So, there's not really a lot that I don't like about this slider itself. Just some closing notes on this. I mean, it is a bigger slider, the 100cm version. So if you just put it on a tripod, it's definitely going to wobble and give you not great shots. But Konova actually has an accessory that you can buy for your tripod that stabilizes that. So you attach it to your tripod and attach it to the thing. So that's something you can buy for that. But if you're not going to do that, you do have to use two stands or a tripod and a light stand, those kind of things to really get nice stable shots. The other thing I should mention is there are all these accessories that I talk about. So if you want some kind of motorized automatic shot, they talk about these one-man shooters where they set up a camera that's automatically going back and forth and panning and stuff like that. Or even if you want a smooth pan while you're sliding, there are accessories you can buy for this slider. Konova also has a full range of sliders that I researched today. There's like the K2, the K3, the K4, the K5, whatever. I don't really know the massive difference between them. We happen to have the K5. But all I can say is that the slider that we've used from them, we're very happy with and very little to complain about. All right, if you guys have any questions or comments at all, leave them in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you do, subscribe and hit that little bell icon if you want notifications when new ones come out. All right, that's it for this one, guys. We'll check you in the next one.
I'm chilling.